What if everything you thought you knew about power and influence was just the tip of the iceberg? Could a single family hold the reins of global wealth, shaping the economy, politics, and even the very narratives we live by? In a world where money talks and secrets whisper through the corridors of power, the question lingers: who are the richest family on Earth, and do they truly control everything? For years, people have been enthralled with the idea of an extremely wealthy family holding a disproportionate amount of power and influence throughout the world. The concept of such concentrated money exercising incalculable influence has a compelling appeal, regardless of whether it is interpreted as a conspiracy, historical investigation, or socio-economic critique. When examining which family could be regarded as the richest on Earth, and how they allegedly control everything, it is crucial to integrate cultural narratives, historical context, and financial realities. Family wealth concentration is not a recent development. Dynastic families have possessed enormous wealth and considerable power for millennia. Families have frequently gone above simple financial might to become cultural and political titans, as seen by the Rothschilds in 19th century Europe and the Medicis in Renaissance Italy. Modern financial systems and the development of capitalism have made it possible for some families to maintain their wealth and influence across many generations. Important periods in this continuous story include the emergence of European banking families, the American Gilded Age industrial tycoons, and the Middle Eastern oil dynasties. These families were able to influence the path of history because they frequently found themselves at crucial junctures of governance and trade. Over time, the methods by which families amass and preserve this kind of power have changed. Royal patronage, military connections, and property ownership were early examples. This changed with the Industrial Revolution to encompass resource extraction, banking, and industrial manufacturing. Wealth concentration has taken on new dimensions in the current digital era due to technical advancements and intellectual property. Rothschild. It would be impossible to discuss influential families without bringing up the Rothschilds. A financial dynasty was formed throughout Europe by Mayer Amschel Rothschild and his 5 sons, who first appeared as well-known bankers in Frankfurt, Germany in the 18th century. There have been allegations that the family controlled substantial chunks of the world economy due to their influence in banking, government funding, and industrial development. The Rothschilds were crucial in helping to finance significant infrastructure projects in the 19th century, such as national debt and railroads. With branches in major European cities like London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt, its global financial network was unmatched. Rumors of their omnipotence were fueled by their wide reach, which sparked both distrust and respect. The mythology surrounding the Rothschild family is still powerful, even though their riches and power have diminished over time. Even while there is currently no evidence to back such assertions, there is a lot of conjecture regarding their influence over central banks, global banking, and even wars. Nonetheless, it is impossible to overstate their historical influence on the development of the contemporary financial system. Their history serves as a reminder of the long-lasting effects of strategic partnerships and financial innovation. The Saud House. The House of Saud, the Saudi royal family, is frequently listed as one of the richest and most powerful families in the world today. Their riches, which comes mostly from Saudi Arabia's enormous oil reserves, has given them the ability to influence people well beyond their boundaries. The family has enormous financial influence since they own Saudi Aramco, the biggest oil corporation in the world. The House of Saud has an impact on Islamic religious leadership, energy markets, and world politics. They have influenced the current geopolitical environment through political alliances, investments, and strategic relationships. Saudi Arabia has a greater influence on international energy policy because of its crucial participation in groups like OPEC. Furthermore, the family's attempts to modernize Saudi Arabia through programs like Vision 2030 show their desire to diversify their economy and establish their dominance in the fields of renewable energy, technology, and tourism. However, their legacy is complicated by critics' concerns about political repression and human rights. The allure of control and conspiracy theories. The notion that everything is controlled by one family or a number of families frequently borders on conspiracy theory. As alleged puppet masters, organizations like the Bilderberg Group, the Illuminati, or shadowy elites are mentioned. These theories are persuasive and amusing, but they frequently rely on selective interpretations of historical and economic events and lack supporting data. For example, although some families have undoubtedly influenced markets, businesses, and political movements, complete control is unrealistic given the complexity and interdependence of contemporary global systems. Numerous parties are involved in the political and economic systems of the world, including governments, businesses, non-governmental organizations, and billions of individual consumers. However, the tenacity of these theories exposes underlying concerns of openness and injustice. The notion that invisible forces are influencing our lives strikes a deep chord in a time of swift technological advancement and widening socio-economic gaps. These stories are frequently used to criticize globalization and the alleged decline in democratic responsibility. The impact of wealth. Fact versus fiction. Influence is unquestionably correlated with wealth. Rich families frequently have access to media outlets, political contacts, and exclusive networks, which increases their influence. For instance, through their ownership of important news organizations, families like the Murdochs' media empire have considerable influence on public opinion. In a similar vein, global health, education, and technology projects are shaped by the charitable activities of families such as the Gates or Buffetts. However, it is important to distinguish between omnipotence and influence. These families have the power to influence laws, fashions, and stories, but they do so inside a context of conflicting interests, judicial processes, and public scrutiny. Allegations that a single family controls everything simplify power relations and distill intricate systems into a single story. In particular, philanthropy exemplifies the complex function of wealth. Although billionaire efforts can advance causes like the fight against sickness and climate change, they also bring up issues of accountability and the concentration of power in decision-making. Opponents contend that these initiatives frequently represent individual goals rather than group aspirations. The future of power and structural inequalities. Systemic inequality is highlighted by the continued existence of great wealth concentration. Nearly half of the world's wealth is owned by the richest 1% of people, according to Oxfam's 2023 study. This inequality is exacerbated by families that build and preserve money over generations, frequently through strategies including inheritance, lobbying, and tax optimization. These differences bring up moral dilemmas regarding the place of wealth in social justice and democracy. These disparities are intended to be addressed by movements supporting corporate accountability, progressive taxation, and wealth redistribution. However, accomplishing these objectives is severely hampered by deeply ingrained networks of influence and control. In addition, new opportunities for wealth accumulation and concentration have been brought about by the digital revolution. Today, tech tycoons and their families like the Bezoses and Zuckerbergs control wealth comparable to that of banking and industrial dynasties. This change emphasizes how power is dynamic and how new frameworks are required to handle its effects. The myth of complete authority. It is more fiction than fact that one family is in charge of the entire planet. Diffuse power and influence operate across a network of systems and actors. Despite their undeniable power, wealthy families operate in a competitive and frequently chaotic atmosphere. The idea of complete control is oversimplified by the complexity of contemporary global systems, which include financial markets, political alliances, and cultural movements. The boundaries of control are shown by historical instances of concentrated authority, such as monopolistic enterprises or colonial empires. Even the strongest organizations encounter opposition, rivalry, and unanticipated setbacks. Today's wealth and influence environment is still shaped by this dynamic. The issue is not whether a family controls everything, but rather how societies can make sure that wealth is used for the benefit of all. Through the promotion of transparency, equity, and accountability of influential individuals, we may make progress towards a future in which power is responsibly and widely distributed. Don't miss out on uncovering the secrets of wealth and power. Subscribe now and join us as we dive deeper into the world of influence and the families that shape it.